Hi, and welcome to this month's Thoughts on Leadership. Subject this month is going to be holding up the mirror. And you're probably thinking, well, that's a strange title for this month's thoughts. It's something that I'd like to spend a few moments with you and get you to consider, and that is how some people sometimes just seem to take what you say and twist it around, or have a perspective of a situation and turn it around on you. I don't know whether you get this from time to time, but I'm somebody who's straightforward and honest. I just say it as it is and get on with things. And people know where they stand with me, and people generally know what I stand for. So when somebody suddenly turns around and makes an assumption about me, your reaction to it is quite often quite offended by the way that they should even think of something like that about you. And it's that I want to spend a few moments today and think about, talk with you about, and then let's have a few questions for you to consider. You see, you can say to yourself, well, is it just them? And that's true. There are some times that when people say something, it actually says more about them than it does about you. In other words, they've accused you of something which anybody who knows you would never have done, but that them accusing you, it tells you that if they were in their position, in your position, they would have behaved in that manner. So they're looking at you through their own eyes. That does happen, and it does happen quite a lot. But what's really a difficult one is when people will look at you and make these assumptions, and then you say, well, is it something I did? Is it me? Or is there something I'm doing that's making people believe this about me? And that's when we have to be able to hold up the mirror. Are we able to hold up that mirror, look ourselves in the eye, and say that yes, we are being honest and true to ourselves? See, being ourselves is very important. But at the same time, we need to walk this fine line, which is keeping people happy. You know, I often look at politicians, and whether you like them or hate them, whether you agree with them or you don't agree with them, or whether that you support their particular party or not, they have a difficult life, because you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. I can look at, particularly over in recent times, with some of the situations that have been happening in the world, and no matter what the politicians are going to do, there seems to be somebody coming at them. So for that part of their job, I suppose, I find actually feel sorry for them. But in life, when you've got business and when you're doing your job, it is a fine line you need to walk. The one side there, you try to keep people happy. You try to take into consideration how they're feeling. But then on the other side, you need to get things done. You need to get the business to where it needs to go. You need to get the organization to move on. You need to achieve things. Everything I'm saying also applies in the family. On the one side, you want your family to be happy and you want that relationship with them. On the other side, you have standards and principles that you need to work with. So there's always this balance in leadership that you're needing to work with. And when somebody throws allegations at you and throws statements at you, it's easy to be flippant and say, that actually says more about you than it says about me. And in many cases, that may be the situation. But what if it is you? What if it's something that you are doing, unwittingly, I'm not saying intentionally, but unwittingly portraying an image which is sending out a perception to people that you're somebody who cannot be trusted or would behave in the manner of the accuser? And it's good sometimes to be able to hold ourselves up to the mirror. And the problem with a lot of people is they say, yeah, I hold myself up to the mirror. I look in the mirror and say, I'm honest, I'm trustworthy, I'm straight. But to do that at the same time as balance what's right compared to what's being honest and straight. Because, this is the right thing to do. This is what we're going to get. Yeah, you may believe that, and you may be absolutely right, that this is the way to go, this is the right thing to be doing. But then on the other hand, part of leadership is taking those people with you. So your dogmatism in your approach to doing the right thing is creating an issue for you. So how do you balance that? What do you need to do to balance that? And that's sort of an age-old question. But I do believe it's about building integrity with people. I do believe it's about building that relationship with people, where people do give you that benefit of the doubt and do believe in you and give you the opportunity to prove yourself. I had it happen to me recently. Somebody emailed me and accused me of doing something underhanded. Not a direct accusation, it was more of an innuendo. Now, anybody who knows me knows that I wouldn't do that sort of thing. But this person who has never met me, never knew me, but knew I was involved in this project, wrote an email to me and made this accusation to me. And at the time, I was just flabbergasted, because anybody who knows me would never have made that accusation. But I had to take that moment out. I had to say to myself, although I'm very strong about what my values are and what I stand for, is there something about me that is portraying that image? Because it's easy to write back, as I did do, and said, I understand your concerns, but this says actually more about you than it does about me, because anybody who knows me knows that I wouldn't do this, and maybe you should take the time to find out about me before you make these sort of accusations. And that's how I dealt with it. But I also needed that moment to just say, is there something I'm doing that makes people have that perception of me and that belief in me? So really what I wanted you to do this month is to take this into consideration. Do a little bit of thinking about it. And I've got some really powerful questions here this month, which I want you to take away and consider. What are you doing each and every day to build integrity with the people that you are dealing with, especially the ones that you're meant to lead? Notice what I said. What are you building each and every day? What are you doing about it each and every day? And here's another good question. Can you be totally honest with yourself? And if your answer was yes, you said it a bit too quickly for my liking. Can you really be honest with yourself? Can you be totally objective with yourself? Can you recognize your mistakes and then learn from them? Can you look and understand the flaws in yourself? Can you understand when you've made this mistake? Do you know the cracks in your personality and in your personal being, and understand how to work with them and to become a better person? And of course, can you look yourself in the mirror, look at yourself deep in the eyes, and say, not only am I honest, not only am I true to myself, but I do it in a way that is right for the people that are concerned, knowing that I'm always going to upset some, but doing everything I can to encompass as many, and create that integrity with people, so that those few that do get upset, well, they're in a minority, and they're probably the ones who would get upset anyway. I, as a child, read a poem. It's a well-known poem. I didn't know that at the time I read it. It's by Rudyard Kipling, and it's called If, just 2 letters, the word if. And it's a powerful poem. If you ever get to read it, I recommend it to you. More than that, I recommend that you think about it in terms of you and your life. Because my whole life, since I was a child, as a teenager, I held that poem as my credo, as my guiding principle. And there's a section in there that I want to repeat in line with what we're saying, and in line with this holding this mirror up. And the section I want to read to you there, I'm going to put it in the form of a question, so it's not the original quote, but it's taking the content of the poem and putting it into a question for you. And it goes like this. Can you talk with crowds and keep your virtue? Can you walk with kings nor lose your common touch? Can you never allow foes or loving friends to hurt you? And can you ensure that all men count with you, but none too much? That's the fine line I'm talking about. And as you walk it, you need to stop. You need to hold up the mirror. You need to look deep into your eyes and ask yourself these questions. Because it is only through that process that you keep checking in whether your integrity is growing or shrinking. Growing or shrinking. It's doing one or the other all the time. I hope this thoughts for this month has been challenging. I wish you a great month. For all of the people that have joined this month, and I've had some great times in the last month. Been to Pakistan, been to America, to St. Louis, to New Orleans, saw the disaster that's still there in that city, and met some wonderful people. And many hundreds of them over the last month have joined. And I welcome you and look forward to seeing you all again each and every month. Have a great month. All the best. Bye now.